Have you ever considered what it would be like to see a ghost? Not a spectre in an old house, but a ghost on a radar screen. A massive 156-foot long, 168 passenger Boeing 767 carrying 65 souls flying directly at you without a word of warning. That is the chilling reality air traffic controllers faced on the morning of September 11, 2001. United Airlines Flight 175 was fully visible on radar, its transponder still active, but all communication with the cockpit had ceased. A complete and terrifying silence. At 8:14 a.m., Flight 175 departed Boston Logan Airport on a routine cross-country journey to Los Angeles. On board were 51 passengers, 9 crew members, and 5 hijackers. Captain Victor Saraceni and First Officer Michael Horrocks were at the controls, guiding the aircraft as it climbed to its assigned cruising altitude of 31,000 feet. This was a Tuesday morning like any other, a flight filled with people like Garnet Bailey, a professional hockey scout, and Mark Bevis, a fellow scout. But this routine flight was about to intersect with a nightmare you could never have imagined. Just minutes into the flight, at 8:39 a.m., the crew of Flight 175 was instructed to turn right to avoid another aircraft, ironically identified as American Airlines Flight 11. This routine instruction serves as a terrifying foreshadowing of their shared coordinated fate. At 8:42 a.m., the final radio transmission from Flight 175 was a simple message from its pilot, acknowledging a report of suspicious transmission they had overheard from another plane. This was just 4 minutes before American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower. At 8:47 a.m., the ground began to notice something was deeply wrong. Flight 175's beacon code changed twice in 1 minute, and just a few minutes later, the plane deviated from its assigned altitude. But on the plane itself, the horror had already begun. At 8:52 a.m., passenger Peter Henson made a frantic call to his father, Lee Henson, whispering, "I think they have taken over the cockpit. An attendant has been stabbed, and someone else up front may have been killed." He described jerky movements and said, "I don't think the pilot is flying the plane." A flight attendant on board also called a United office, reporting that both pilots were dead. The emotional core of this unseen struggle is a call made by passenger Brian David Sweeney to his mother, Louise Sweeney, in which he calmly conveyed that the flight had been hijacked and the passengers were considering storming the cockpit. The plane, now an instrument of terror, began its final terrifying turn. At 9 a.m., Peter Henson called his father a second time. This time the call was punctured by a woman's scream just before it abruptly ended. "It's getting very bad on plane," he said. "I think we are going down. I think they intended to go to Chicago or someplace and fly into a building. Don't worry, Dad. If it happens, it will be very fast." The aircraft began its final descent towards New York City, dropping to 1,000 feet just before impact. On ground, In the South Tower, people had already witnessed the first plane crash. Brian Clark, an executive vice president, was on 84th floor when he heard a tremendous sound. He described an intense 10-second sway of building as it was struck by Flight 175 at approximately 9:02 a.m. You have likely seen the infamous footage of impact, a moment that is now seared into our collective memory, but Brian Clark's account reveals the visceral experience from within the building. In the immediate aftermath, as smoke and debris filled the building, a few extraordinary acts of heroism began, while dozens of others, guided by their instinct to escape the smoke, made the logical but ultimately fatal decision to climb the stairs toward the roof in hopes of a helicopter rescue. A small group of survivors, including Brian Clark, chose an alternative path. They descended through a debris-filled but ultimately unblocked stairway A. This counter-decision to go down an obscure path and not up saved their lives. It is a narrative of individual choice and heroism in the face of unimaginable chaos. The plane's fuselage, a stark reminder of the day, was later found and is now displayed in the FBI's museum. These aircrafts and documents serve as a tangible link to the past, ensuring we never forget the nearly 3,000 souls lost. If you feel connection to this story, please like this video to help keep their memory alive. Subscribe to our channel to join us as we continue to explore the hidden histories that have shaped our world.